In front of the entire council, the alien soldier slapped the seal, and paid for it with his skull. The Echo hadn't even finished traveling through the chamber when every species in the Rotunda of Sovereigns went still. The room was nothing like the polished halls other councils used. This one was a hollowed asteroid core, rough metallic walls curving upward into a fractured dome of raw crystal that refracted light into jagged, shifting colors. Rivers of plasma ran through channels overhead, illuminating delegates from 38 worlds who suddenly forgot how to breathe. In the center stood the only human in the chamber, Navy SEAL Lieutenant Marcus Hale, alone on a platform shaped like a broken anvil. His uniform wasn't ceremonial. It was scarred, dull, and real. He wore no armor because humans didn't hide behind plating in negotiations. And he carried no weapon because every species here assumed humans needed one. Jorkan didn't. Jorkan, decorated soldier of the Thal Dominion, 7 feet tall with scaled plating and horned crests, believed humans were soft beneath reputation. He'd come to prove it. And now the slap he delivered still hovered in the air like smoke. Marcus didn't move. His cheek was red. The alien's gauntlet was dripping with the dust of its own cracked plating. No one spoke. Not because they respected diplomacy, but because they were waiting. Waiting to see what a human would do. The council chair, a being stitched from luminous cables, rose slightly. Lieutenant Hale, you will refrain from retaliation. This is a place of... Marcus exhaled slowly. Too slowly. Jorkan smirked, tusks lifting. See? The human breaks easily. That did it. Not the insult. The lie. Marcus raised his eyes, not fast, not suddenly. Just enough to let the alien know he miscalculated. The silence inside the asteroid core thickened until even the plasma overhead dimmed. Marcus spoke softly, barely above a breath. You shouldn't have done that. Several delegates flinched, not because of the words, but because of the way he said them, not with anger, but with certainty. Jorkan stepped closer, scent glands flaring with smug heat. What will you do? Cry? Appeal to your fragile. Marcus moved. No warning. No tension coil. No drawn breath. Just motion, clean, economical, terrifying. His hand came up in a short arc, traveling barely the length of his forearm. It looked unimpressive. Almost gentle. Until impact. 2 sounds followed. The first, a sharp, clean crack, like a stone snapping under pressure. The second, the deeper, sickening thud of a body losing its structure. Jorkan didn't fall backward. He dropped straight down, legs folding awkwardly, skull partially caved at the side where Marcus's palm had landed. His horns scraped the crystal floor with a metallic chirp. His mandibles hung slack, eyes rolled white. He wasn't dead. But his skull wasn't whole. Every being surged up, chairs screeching, claws clacking, tendrils tightening around perches. The core itself seemed to vibrate in shock. Marcus didn't gloat. He didn't adjust his stance. He didn't even blink. He lowered his hand like he'd simply brushed dust off it. One of the aquatic ambassadors hissed. SEAL forces, they strike like detonations. Another whispered. Not detonations. Decisions. Marcus stood over Jorkan's collapsed frame. The alien was breathing, barely. The pulse was erratic. Marcus checked it with 2 fingers. He's alive! Delegates murmured in disbelief. The Thal contingent hissed in outrage. The crystalline chairperson flickered with unstable light. This chamber forbids violence. He hit me first, Marcus said, still calm. In my culture, striking a diplomat ends negotiations. And responding with lethal force. Not lethal, Marcus corrected. A medic drone scanned the fallen warrior. Cranial fracture. Severe. He will survive, with augmentation. The Tharl speaker pounded the railing. This is an outrage. You allowed a human. No, Marcus said. You allowed arrogance. A gasp rippled through the room. It wasn't a threat. It wasn't defiance. It was worse. It was truth. Marcus stepped back to the center of the platform. I'm ready to continue. The chairperson flickered again. Council will recess. The chamber lights dimmed to a blood-orange glow. Delegates whispered in dozens of languages. Marcus walked the edge of the platform slowly, deliberately. He wasn't posturing. He was letting his body return to rest. As he approached the exit tunnel, rough stone fused with glowing blue veins, a cluster of delegates from the Varen Combine bowed slightly, all four of their stalk eyes lowering. Marcus kept walking. A younger human officer, Ensign Riva, caught up with him in the corridor. Her voice shook. Lieutenant, they're broadcasting the footage to every channel. Marcus didn't stop. Of the slap or the strike? Both. They're looping the 2-second gap like it's prophecy. Marcus inhaled the recycled air. It smelled faintly of stone dust and ozone. That gap, Riva whispered. That's what they're afraid of. He didn't answer. Because she was right. Inside the medical wing, Jorkin floated in a restorative suspension tank. His skull was wrapped in nanobraces. His right mandible trembled randomly, a sign the nerves weren't reconnecting cleanly. The med unit whispered diagnostics. Damage concentrated. Very precise. Human strike technique suggests training beyond standard military protocols. One of the Tharl generals growled. He struck like a predator. Controlled. Cold. No, corrected a smaller Tharl scout. Predators act from instinct. This was something else. Something planned. Meanwhile, deep inside the asteroid's heart, the Council's private chamber pulsed with low light as envoys gathered around a suspended projection of the event. The slap. The pause. The strike. Again. 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 The Ilari strategist folded forearms. Humans once again show why they are unpredictable. The Rift-born elder murmured. Not unpredictable. Calculated. They think in consequences, not impulses. The chairperson finally spoke. The Dominion will push for sanctions against Earth. Perhaps expulsion. And if we agree? Asked the reptilian admiral. Then we lose the only species who acts while others debate. In the corridor, Marcus stood facing a viewport carved directly into the asteroid shell. Beyond it, the nebula outside pulsed in shifting crimson clouds, hiding drifting debris from ancient battles. His reflection hovered faintly over it, calm, still, unreadable. Riva approached again. Sir, analysts are calling you the still point. Marcus raised a brow. What? The moment right after the slap. They said you froze everything in the room without moving. Marcus looked at the nebula once more. I wasn't frozen. I was deciding. Riva swallowed. What were the options? 3. Walk away. Take the hit and let him humiliate Earth publicly. Or end the challenge. Why that one? Because Earth won't grow if we let others decide our dignity. Behind them, the corridor's speakers chimed. Lieutenant Hale. Council summons. Marcus turned. Showtime, he murmured. The tunnel to the council chamber thrummed with energy as delegates filed back in. Tension clung to the air like static. The crystalline chairperson glowed a steady, neutral tone. Marcus walked in alone. No honor guard. No escorts. Just a human who had struck once, and decisively. When he reached the platform, the chairperson's voice echoed across the chamber. The council has reviewed the incident. Findings are as follows. The Tharl soldier initiated the altercation. Lieutenant Hale responded with precision force. Both actions violate conduct, but only one was premeditated aggression. Murmurs swept the gallery. Therefore, the chairperson continued, disciplinary measures fall upon the Tharl Dominion. The hall erupted, some outraged, others impressed. Marcus didn't smile. Didn't shift. Didn't acknowledge the ruling. The chairperson turned to him. Lieutenant Hale, would you like to speak? He stepped forward once. Earth doesn't ask for deference. We don't seek to dominate. But we will not be diminished in any chamber, on any world, by anyone. That era is gone. Then he stepped back. For the first time, the chamber fell into a silence humans didn't fear. A silence shaped by the consequences of 2 seconds. A silence every species now understood. Marcus turned toward the exit. The hall widened before him, glowing veins of energy pulsing gently along its walls. As he walked, the delegates watched him, not with fear, but with wary respect. And for the first time since Earth joined the coalition, no one questioned whether humans belong. They wondered what humans would do next. Marcus didn't break stride. Because he already knew. Marcus didn't head for his quarters. Not yet. The asteroid's inner circulation ring was a maze of half-lit corridors and uneven metal plates, remnants of whatever mining civilization abandoned this world long before the Council claimed it. Each step echoed like a soft percussion, steady and controlled. He walked toward the tactical archives chamber because he needed silence, not rest. But silence didn't greet him. A figure was already inside, lean, angular, with plating that shifted like thin obsidian sheets. A Vexery elder, Kethren, known for never showing allegiance to any faction. He stood with arms folded behind him, studying a suspended hollow of the strike frame by frame. "You didn't aim for his temple," Kethren said without turning. "Most warriors do." Marcus stopped a few paces away. "Temple would kill him." Kethren angled his head. "And this mattered to you?" "It mattered that the response fit the aggression. Nothing more." Kethren studied him as if examining a puzzle whose edges didn't match the picture. "Humans speak of restraint, yet your legends are carved from violence." "Restraint isn't the absence of force," Marcus replied. "It's knowing when force has meaning." For a moment, Kethren's plates shifted in something like amusement. "They fear you now, Lieutenant. Not because you struck him. Because you waited before you did." Marcus didn't respond. He didn't need to. Kethren gestured toward the hollow, where the image looped, the slap, the 2 seconds of stillness, the surgical strike. "The Dominion misread you. They believed silence meant hesitation. But silence is where you decide." Marcus exhaled softly. "Was there something you needed?" "Yes." Kethren stepped closer. "The Council is about to fracture. Half believe humanity is indispensable. Half believe you're dangerous. And the ones who believe both? They're the ones worth watching." Marcus felt that truth settle like a weight across his shoulders. "What do they want?" "A demonstration." Kethren's voice dropped. "Against the Dominion. Against the AI expansion. Against your own limitations. They want to know if the moment on that platform was instinct, or doctrine." Marcus held his gaze. "Doctrine." Kethren nodded once, sharply. "Then prepare yourself. The next time you strike, it won't be one life or one skull at stake." He left without another word. Marcus remained, watching the hollow drift. The slow rotation of Jorkan's collapse played like a gravitational event. He didn't feel pride. He didn't feel regret. He felt something colder, something he recognized from operations long before Earth had a seat in this chamber. "I didn't escalate. I restored balance. And now the galaxy expects me to maintain it." A soft chime sounded behind him. Ensign Riva again. Her expression was taut, her breath quick. "Sir? You need to see this." She held up a slate. A live transmission flickered across it, Dominion ships massing along a disputed border, fleets shifting in calculated lines, their engines glowing with war readiness. Marcus scanned the patterns. "They're posturing. Or preparing," Riva whispered. "Command wants your assessment. Tell them the Dominion is angry, not suicidal. But if they retaliate..." "They won't," Marcus said. "Not today." He stepped past her, heading toward the main elevator that dropped to the lower diplomatic decks. Riva followed, unsure whether she should speak. When the lift doors sealed, she finally breathed out. "Sir, that moment before you struck him. Did you know the entire chamber would react the way it did?" "No." "Then why risk it?" Marcus looked at the shifting lights lining the elevator tube. "Because if I didn't hold still, he'd think he controlled the tempo. And once you let someone else control the tempo, you've already lost." The lift opened to the diplomatic concourse, an enormous cavern carved into the asteroid's mid-layer, where walkways spiraled around a central shaft of pulsing plasma. Delegates moved in cautious flows, voices lowered as Marcus appeared. He traveled the outer ring to a private alcove overlooking the void outside. The nebula beyond had changed hue, deep violet now, swirling with soft luminescent currents like a storm frozen mid-motion. Behind him, a heavy step echoed. Tharl General Vorsk, broader than Jorkin, armored in cobalt plating, approached without guards. His voice was low, vibrating the air itself. "You humiliated one of ours." Marcus didn't turn. He struck a diplomat. "Because he believed your species insolent. Belief doesn't override protocol." Vorsk stepped beside him, both staring into the violet storm. "You fractured his skull. And spared his life," Marcus said evenly. "You're welcome." For a long breath neither moved. Then Vorsk did something no one expected. He bowed. Not deeply, but enough that any Tharl watching would understand its weight. "He was a fool," Vorsk said. "We respect strength. But we revere precision. You gave him both." Marcus studied him carefully. "Why are you really here?" Vorsk's eyes narrowed. "The Dominion plans to challenge Earth's seat." "Of course they do. But I'm here to warn you," Vorsk continued. "They won't attack you physically. They'll come for your reputation. They will twist the story. They will claim you are unstable, that humans cannot be trusted with authority. They will use the 2 seconds against you." Marcus turned fully now. "Then I'll make them regret it." The general nodded once. "I expect nothing less." He left as quietly as he arrived. Marcus stood alone again, the nebula casting fractured colors across his face. Riva joined him after a moment, hesitant. "Sir, are you ready for what comes next?" "No," Marcus answered truthfully. "But readiness isn't a requirement. Resolve is." A call tone chimed across the concourse. The chairperson's voice filled the air, crystalline and steady. "Lieutenant Hale. Report to the Ascension Hall." Riva stiffened. "That's the Unity Chamber." "Sir, they never summon a human there." Marcus walked toward the central bridge without hesitating. The Ascension Hall was unlike the Rotunda. It was alive, literally. Its walls were grown from engineered biometal that shifted in slow ridges, glowing like veins under skin. A circular dais floated in midair, surrounded by drifting shards of reflective matter. 38 delegates were present, all waiting. Marcus stepped onto the dais. The shards rotated around him, refracting his silhouette into a constellation of human shapes. The chairperson spoke. "The Council has reached a decision regarding Earth." Marcus did not blink. "You remain. Without sanction. Without censure." Whispers surged. "Furthermore," the chairperson continued, "it is the judgment of this body that your restraint in the moment of provocation demonstrates qualities essential to coalition stability." Marcus felt the air shift. "You are hereby appointed tactical arbiter for cross-species conflict mediation." Stunned silence. Riva nearly stopped breathing. Marcus stayed still. "You have one charge," the chairperson said softly. "Prevent a war only you can see coming." Marcus inhaled once. "I accept." The shards brightened, reflecting that single sentence across the living walls like a pulse. Later, when the hall emptied and the asteroid drifted quietly through the nebula, Marcus stood alone again, the weight of new authority settling over his spine like gravity tightening its grip. Riva approached, voice hushed. "Sir, this all happened because of 2 seconds." Marcus didn't smile, but something in his eyes sharpened. "No. It happened because of what I chose to do with them." Far across the asteroid, in a dim Dominion war room, Jorkin watched the same 2 seconds on repeat. His skull brace hummed faintly. With every loop, he understood less about humans. And feared them more. Marcus Hale walked the dim corridor back to his quarters, hands relaxed, steps steady. He wasn't thinking about the slap. He wasn't thinking about the strike. He was thinking about the next decision. Because the Council had it wrong. Humans weren't dangerous because they acted. They were dangerous because they decided. and Marcus Hale had already decided.